iReady writing step 6. Here we go. Okay, we are on page 114 in our iReady writing book. And again, we're writing an essay. We're writing an essay about how a Teliote from the story The Girl with the Rainbow Skin, how her interactions with humans is affected by her opinion of herself and her opinion of humans, normals, organics. All right, let's get into this. Okay, revised first read. You guys have your book open to page 114. As you revise, use your literary analysis writing checklist, which I have hopefully already passed out to you. And if not, then ask me and I'll give you a copy. Okay? So, the literary analysis writing checklist. To check your writing, use this checklist. Work through it one line at a time. These are something that I don't collect. So this is something for you to use in order to make your writing a better piece of writing, okay? A better paper. So reread the related parts of your essay to decide whether you did your best possible work or for each trait described. This will make sense, trust me. In this step, you will practice checking your essay for 3 of the traits in the categories of organization and elaboration. They're basically 2 organizations in 1 elaboration. All right. So we're not going to really worry so much about what Philip Yee has written for the wolf story, but I want you to look over here on the think aloud part. Again, this is what a good writer is, the way they're thinking, and I want you guys to think the same way. And at the top there with a little thought bubble, it says think aloud. And the first part says organization. So when you read your story again, I want you guys to ask yourselves, are my details, just like it says right here, are my details presented in a logical order? I got hiccups now. So are my details presented in a logical order? What does that mean? That means, does it make sense when we read through the details? Are we starting... are we going to start with the ending of the story and talk about it, and then at the end of the story or end of our paper talk about the beginning? No, that's not the correct organization, and that's not the logical order. We're going to go first, second, last. We're going to go from the start to the beginning. That's organization, and that's the logical order is what we're talking about. Then please look down here. Skip the rest of that. Let's look down here where it says elaboration. Once you guys reread your story, which we have written, and it's right in front of you, hopefully, ask yourselves this, do I include enough evidence to support each idea? And in this kind of writing, in a literary analysis essay, quotations are very, very important types of evidence. This is the evidence that we're going to use in our story. All right, so do you have enough quotations that support your idea of what you should be writing about? Okay. The next part down here says organization. Now listen, once we get to page 115, we're going to kind of do the same thing except with the story that we are writing about. All right, the girl with rainbow skin. So the next part says organization. Once you reread this again, you're going to ask yourself, does my conclusion sum up my analysis? All right? As an example here, let's read the last paragraph, okay? This is his summarization. This is his concluding paragraph to the wolf, the true story of the 3 little pigs. He says, it's hard not to like the wolf in the story when he tells it to himself, but all you have to do is read the original to get a very different picture of what happened. Now, he's reading this again, and he's asking himself, does my conclusion sum up my analysis? And he's come up with the idea, not really. It says, right now I leave readers with a thoughtful idea. But he has to add a sentence. He says, I'll add a sentence to the beginning of the paragraph that clearly sums up my analysis. And it will say, the true story of the Three Little Pigs shows that a narrator's point of view can greatly affect the way events and descriptions of other characters are presented. Wow. That's a great sentence, and that makes that whole paragraph very good, because what it does, it sums up his analysis as well. It does leave him with a nice thoughtful idea at the very end, and actually that's very well written. And you guys could have something like that too. Huh? Okay? But you have to ask yourself, does my conclusion sum up my analysis? Let's practice this. Now we're going to analyze part of Sweet Tea's draft for organization and elaboration, just like Philip Yee just did, and we kind of peeked in and saw what Philip Yee was doing. So now we're on page 115. Read the excerpt below from Sweet Tea's draft of the assignment. Then, complete the activities. Don't forget to use the hints for help. Sweet Tea's draft. Let's read this together. The Teleote's point of view that she is better than humans influences how she describes her second and third encounters with humans. During the second encounter, she describes a party as an activity that doesn't make sense. The third encounter shows her belief that humans are physically weaker than Teleotes. The Teleote's point of view toward humans does change. At the start, she believes she is better than humans in all ways. Towards the end, she thinks she has found new friends. She wants to get to know more about humans. The Teleote's experience with humans reminds us that we should never judge a book by its cover. If we get to know someone, we may change our minds. And that's all. Very true and very well written. However, let's look at what Sweet Tea has done. Let's analyze Sweet Tea's stuff. All right? So, number 1, organization. Does Sweet Tea present his ideas and details in a logical order? And the hint says, look for words in his draft that show time order. Time, such as first, next, last. Let's look for those, okay? And we're looking... it even says right there in the first sentence, it's talking about the second and then the third encounters with humans. And it describes them. During the second encounter, 2, she describes a party as an activity that doesn't make sense. The third encounter, 2, 3, see how it's going in order? The third encounter shows her belief that humans are physically weaker than Teleotes. So far, yeah. I mean, I think Sweet Tea's doing a really good job at presenting his ideas and details in a logical order. So, I think our answer is going to be yes. He does. He carries his analysis through the story in the order and the events that had happened. Yeah. All right. Number 2, elaboration. This says Sweet Tea does not include enough evidence to support his ideas. That's telling you flat out right there. He does not include enough evidence to support his ideas. Suggest ways that Sweet Tea can revise his draft to include more evidence. Now, we just talked about this. How do we, in a literary analysis, how do we get evidence? What's the best kind of evidence? Over here, the hint says, what kind of evidence makes a literary analysis strong? I'm going to let you guys come up with that one, okay? But please just don't add one word. Please write a complete sentence, okay? Tell me or suggest ways that Sweet Tea can revise his draft to include more evidence. You'll get there. Any questions? Ask me. Number 3, organization. How well does Sweet Tea's conclusion sum up his analysis? If needed, suggest a specific revision to help Sweet Tea improve his conclusion. Now, if you think about it, we've just went over what Philip Yu did for the story, the true story of the Three Little Pigs, and he put some nice, thoughtful things in there. But did it sum up the analysis? Okay. Um, let's look at Sweet Teas. It says the teleote's experience with humans reminds us that we should never judge a book by its cover. If we get to know someone, we may change our minds. That's very nice and that's very well written. However, does it sum up the analysis of, you guys just spent a whole lot of time writing a bunch of paragraphs analyzing the three encounters of the teleote and the humans. Now, be proud of that and use that, okay? You guys, you want to tell everyone, again, as you're writing, what you have just written about. Sum up the analysis. That's so important, all right? Now, I want you guys, I'll tell you flat out, it does not sum up the analysis. It just leaves a thought. A very good one. Thinking about what Philip Yee did when he changed his story for the true story of the Three Little Pigs, the concluding paragraph, how would you change Sweet Tea's concluding paragraph? And I'm going to unleash you guys on this one, okay? So I think you guys have a really good, if you guys really were paying attention to what we just talked about on page 114, you've got this in the bag, all right? So now, oh my goodness, we're going to move on to the next one, which is going to be another revision. So we are getting near the end of this. I think by the beginning of next week, I'm going to release the Am I Right upon you guys, and you guys will be able to complete your final paper. But now we're in class. I'm going to give you guys writing time too, so I don't think I'm going to leave it open for like a week or so. I'm going to have it open for maybe a day or two, and that's it. So make sure you have all your stuff done. As always, good luck.